What's up, guys? Oh. Let's wait until YouTube does whatever they have to do. Can I see the chat? Alright, I'm about to mix. I never go live on YouTube. So I thought, why not? I have like 20 minutes or so. I have to set up this mix. I'm not sure I can see the chat though. Can I? Let me see. They used to have a link for the live. I have no idea where that is now. Oh well. All right. Totally improvised, like live. Hello, guys. I was not planning on going live, but I never do. And it's like every time I try to set up like a live stream, like a real one, you know, with the everything and going and OBS and everything goes to shit because I just have bad luck with like live stream, I guess. How's this light? Oh, it's way too fucking dark. I'll keep that up. Brent Averill 1073 or API 512? 512. I'm a 512 guy. I'm an API 512 guy. For sure. I'm an API. I love API preamps. So yeah. Hello, good morning, good night, good evening to you guys. Yeah, I was actually live on Instagram not long ago. Let me put this a little further away. What the hell? Okay. Alright, cool. And I just took my car to install some things. I'm not happy with no, this one goes on top of the fat, so I need to mix. I can't keep it there. I just took my car to install some things, and I was live on Instagram while I was driving because I had like a 40-minute drive. So I needed someone to keep me company because I was alone. Berlin, hello everybody. you heard API is not best for vocals. That is one of the biggest. It's complete bullshit. API is one of the best preamp ever made in the history of music. Come on. Who the fuck said? Oh, it's not good for vocals. I recorded all my vocals as the artist that I recorded with an API. Do you like Bella's vocals in the last single? That's an API 512. It's literally the only preamp that I have. Right there. There's a reason. So it's complete bullshit. What do I think about the Acoustica Audio Pink 4? Unfortunately, I only have very little experience with Acoustica Audio plugins. Only tried a few. I had some problems with the activation and shit, so I just didn't really spend much time with them. I hear they're good, but they got in contact with me some time ago. They wanted to do something together, and I never heard anything about it. But I myself cannot talk about them. Like I never used any for an extended period of time enough to say something. Any thoughts on the conversion specs of the Big Six? No, I didn't even know it was. Oh well, I guess I knew because it's USB, right? No, I have no idea about the conversion. I mean, probably they're okay, but SSL has been doing analog for forever. I never heard about SSL doing, converters. I'm pretty sure before putting a product out, they made sure that are at least okay, but I don't know. It's too new. I mean, they're not probably gonna be high end, if that's what you mean, or you're asking. They're gonna be okay, probably on par with middle of the road interfaces, but I wouldn't expect like mastering grade or something. But yeah, I got no more space here. Yeah, no, the API of course just lands on drums and guitars and everything else, including vocals. Look, API, the 512 and all the others, it's the sound of rock and roll, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't go well for a soothing kind of voice or something. Like I said, I record Bella with that preamp. It doesn't get more soft than that, so it's just a matter of how you drive it. What do you recommend as a first hardware purchase for someone looking into hybrid mixing? I answered this question a lot. I think you either go with a 2-bus compressor, which can be anything West made from if you can afford the NG, otherwise the Dione, or something else if you like a different topology like a Mu or the API 2500, something like that, like a 2-bus compressor usually when you were starting. But the Fusion is a good argument for a first piece because you have a lot of modules, but you will have to add a 2-bus compressor later on to put an insert. I think you can't go wrong with either. Personally, I would probably start with a compressor. A versatile one. The one that I named are all versatile. VA76, any thoughts? No. As in, don't buy cheap stuff because you're gonna regret it and you're gonna sell it and you're gonna lose money in the process. So when you buy gear, try to buy once and keep it, as opposed to try to save money, because at the end of the day you're gonna lose money, because soon you're gonna grow out of that cheap unit you're gonna have to sell it. You're gonna lose a lot of money because those cheap units don't have resale value. And if you want a 1176, I have two. If you want to go rack, go with Stam. That's unbeatable. If you wanna go in 500 series, the Mimas from West Audio it's great. Have you tried Fear compressor? There's a free version, great stuff. No, I haven't. I really, don't have that much time to try stuff unless it's for the channel. Should I use a stereo vocal bus with stereo plugins for a mono lead vocal? Doesn't make any difference. If you use if you send your mono track to a stereo bus, still mono. You're just making your life difficult if you want to mix with analog. Because at that point, instead of needing one mono compressor, you need a stereo one. No, it makes no difference whatsoever. What you do is you usually send the lead mono vocal to stereo effects, but that's a whole different thing. And if you mix like me, I usually end up busing all the vocals to a stereo bus just because I put in there the background, the doubles, at least the doubles with the lead. Maybe the background, will go on a separate bus. But at the end of the day, a mono track is a mono track. It will stay a mono track. Are you still rocking the OC A18? Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's really hard to beat, not just for the price. And I tried everything. I really love that microphone. All right, so I'm not gonna stay up for long. So this is just really because I'm prepping the mix. So I'm just gonna turn the gear up, and while you can post another few questions in the meantime, I will take as many as I can while I'm turning things up here. What do I need for this mix? Everything, I think. I have freaking everything on. So. 100. The flock is on. This is on. Mag is on. 1 and 2. I need this. I need this. I need this. I need this. And I need the new Empress EQ. I need the 609. I need the successor. These are all on. Why this isn't bypass? I need the stem. I need the 2 distressor, the fatso. That's on. These are red for this mix. And everything else is fine. This is off for now. I need to change my clock. Drummer 1973, 1978. Thank you for the donation. 1973. 1978 is good. Is a good comp. It's fine. I like it. But it kind of has it's a very distinct character. The saturation is very good to shave off harsh thing because it's on the warm side. But the 1973 is a little beast. I'll probably put this in my new rack here because I ran out of space here, so I have a new rack here, which is already half full. But the 1973 is a little beast. It's a very affordable price for a comp that is very, very versatile. It sounds amazing. I really love it, and it's definitely between the two. I much prefer the 1973 because it's so versatile. I mean, it does very, very well on vocals. and on a lot of other things. It's good for 2 bus as well. I really like it. If you like, multiband compressors on 2 bus, and sometimes they're perfectly fine. So I would definitely go. 1973 between the two. I actually mixed MCSolar vocals for Geopolitik, the album, the 1973 Boson vocals. What I think about the DBX 560, it's a really good comp. I actually put it in my one of the list of affordable compressors. It's like it has that character of the 160A, and it's like super cheap, 500 format. The reason because it's cheap because you don't need to pay for the power supply. So, yeah. Can you tell me about your beginnings? I will, not today because I can't stay up for long. I actually need to mix. Arouser or Mikey? Well, I have both, so it's hard for me to pick one. Mikey is a tad softer overall and a little more versatile. The Arouser is more aggressive and a little, I want to say, cleaner to some extent. As in, I like a little better the saturation on the Mikey, but the Arouser is probably the closest action-wise to the real distressor. I usually, if I have to like open a mix where I have real distressors for the channel, and I don't feel like turning on the machines, I usually use a Arouser. But the Mikey is a little more versatile and has a little, I don't know, I kind of like the saturation Softube has. Yeah, it's this Friday session. I have to finish this mix. I have so many on my desk between mix and mastering. How would you emulate what split EQ does? You can't. I meant to do a video on the split EQ. You really can't. The split EQ is a little revolution in the audio world. It's pretty freaking amazing, and I can't think of anything that can emulate what the split EQ does. Actually, it's funny because of split EQ, I now have a whole new kind of set of tools, I want to say, even though it's just one tool. Thank you, Molly G, for the donation. Is really appreciated, guys. I find myself thinking, oh wow, now I can do this because of split EQ, and I can do the other thing. So it really opened up new ways to process audio. I really like it, and I'm friend with the guys at Eventide. I meant to do a video. It's just swamped with mixes and the remix contest and everything, but I will, because it's a great. I mean, literally, as soon as I got it, I probably use it on 3 masters right away, like the next 2 days, and that's for clients, so it says something. I'm thinking about getting into analog gear, specifically 500 series modules. When prioritizing what to spend, which module do you recommend getting first? I think that was thinking getting a Neve tape emulator. Well, yeah, those are amazing, but please don't think that the Neve emulators are a better maker. They are amazing unit. I was the first one probably getting them and show them to the world. I love them to death. But you need to understand gain staging really well to work with them. Can that be one of the first purchase? Yes, of course. They're amazing. When I say can that be one, I mean, are those 2 models that you're gonna keep your entire career? Yes, they are. But it also depends what you want and what you need. You need a compressor, you don't buy those. You need EQs, you don't buy those. If you're talking about 2 bus, I would not start with those. you need to have a bit of experience with analog in general, or be ready to have a kind of a long learning curve on how to use them on two-bus. So I'll probably go for a stereo compressor first, 500 series, but those are units that you will keep your entire life. I'm proof of it. Oh my God. I need to scroll down, baby. What best compressor to get an aggressive punch vocal? Best compressors to get an aggressive and punchy vocal rap, please. Distressor, or you can do a lot with a DBX 160. Or what else? Like so much shit. I feel bad. Oh, those are for, oh well, an 1176 in this case, the stam, the one that I have, you have 3 models there. Thank you for the donation. Who donated? I'm lost. Oh, Magician of Sound, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Do you have a recommended setting for the 1176 on female vocals? I mean, it's not like 1176 is kind of a tricky compressor in that sense. You want to be, you don't want to have the release not too fast, because female vocals are gonna start spitting with 1176. The reason, because I keep going and looking at the stem and advise people to get that one as an 1176, even if waiting times are crazy, is because the revision G is the transformer, is the most transparent, and that's what I would use. That's the first thing that I thought when you told me female vocals on 1176, because I wouldn't grab necessarily 1176 as a first choice for female vocal, you know. So I would definitely go with the transformerless in this case. If you get the stem, you have 3, and just be slow with the release. And you might want to try 12.2 ratio, 12 to 1 ratio instead of the classic 4, and just catch few things, you know, and then maybe add another compressor after. Compression on vocals, less is more. No. You want to see my mix right now, where the compressors are and how much compression and compressors there are? No, let's not say stuff like that. You know, less is more is okay when less is more is okay. Otherwise, it's not. Do you have any hardware that you plan to replace? No, actually. I just got the Empress tube equalizer, and you know, I don't. I actually have 2 more units coming in. My setup right now is the cream of the crop, because let's face it, let's be real, I can't have everything, you know. So what I have is really like what I would have. I'm pretty happy with my system, and actually I'm so happy that I doubled my flock. I'm getting the bigger one, so I really like. Thank you Mahuli G for donating. Thank you guys. What time is it in here? Here is 6 p.m. Los Angeles. When you compare mixing with the analog and digital domain, would the leveling be the same? No. You're talking about gain staging, probably, because I don't know what you mean by leveling. But no, the levels in general are completely different between analog and digital. That's the one major difference between the two. Have you used any Fredenstein's product? No, I only heard of it. They're like on the cheap side. I never had the chance. Purple MC77 or 1176 blue stripe on vocals. I'm not a fan of the MC77. It's too bright, too brittle. Blue stripe all day. Do you feel about EDM producers saying headroom doesn't exist because of the... do you feel about EDM producers saying headroom doesn't exist because of 32-bit software letting you clip infinitely? I've done so many videos about gain staging. If you stay in the box and you like to do things half-assed, you can think that way. You're just making your life more difficult. You're, I don't know, you're just literally doing it the wrong way for no reason. Because yes, you cannot clip, as in if you clip your two bus, you can lower the master. But if you clip your two bus, you don't know how to mix. You don't. So, happy holiday to everybody. It's bullshit. You know, why would you want to do things the wrong way? It would be like you have a car that has 6 gears and you say, "Oh, I can drive in third all the time." Okay, you can. It's not how you drive a car, but you can. It's the same like if you open a door by turning the knob or kicking it. Both ways will get you in the other room. One is wrong, you know? All right. The pros to go to school then don't have the money for gear. The cons learn by getting the gear first. Okay, well, I have so many students that paid tens of $1,000s in school, and they all say the same thing. I learned more in 3 lessons one-to-one with you than in 3 years in school. With that said, the schools are good for contacts. And if you have a school, if you live in a place where, like Los Angeles, where there's a lot of music scene and it's healthy, going to school will probably give you some good contacts, but it's a very high price to pay for contacts. So yeah, I mean, I literally have a school, 3 students of a school here in LA saying that I did a video on a console, all right? The console is pretty complicated. It was the Neve Genesis. Neve hired me to do a video on it, on how to use that console. And it took me like a few days to get my hand around it because it's a digitally controlled analog console. 3 students came to me while I was doing the video and they say like, wow, we have one at the school and they never turn it on because they don't know how to use it. So you have a 120 grand console that you let sit there and collect dust because you don't know how to use it. That's all I'm gonna say. Right, I have to scroll because I gotta go soon. I really need to finish this mix, guys. Do you think most plugins clip if you drive them 30 dB into high? It's kind of a weird question. Yes, they will. It's time to buy gold or Bitcoin. I have no idea about that. I would be the worst person about asking to ask about like investments and shit. I suck major ass at it. Major. You know what? If you ask me something, do the opposite of what I tell you, and you're gonna make money because I always lose money. Never heard what you think about the Sony C800G. Why not getting one? Why? Because it's an extremely bright microphone that costs way too much, and I'm not a big fan of it. You know, it's extremely bright. And yeah, I mean, it's Drake mic, so it became like a new, again, it came back to be trendy now. And then everybody, you know, has problems with S's and shit like that. It's an extremely bright mic, and I think is overpriced. It's overpriced because it has like this aura of unavailability around it. There's no reason to pay that much money, you know. But Argentina, what do you think about Reaper DAW? I never used it. No, I actually have it on my laptop. It's fine, but I literally use it on my laptop just to do consultation on mixes because I don't want to take my iLok with Pro Tools on the other side. I don't know much about it, you know. Any thoughts on MacDSP plugin, MacDSP APB? It's funny because they just got in contact with me. They just got in and MacDSP just wrote me like a couple of days ago. First of all, I loved and I've always loved MacDSP plugins. You saw me using them like everywhere, even when I shouldn't. Like Fuzzbox is all over my mixes. I don't know about APB. We talked about APB with Colin at the last NAM. I don't remember how many years at this point ago, but and I'm sure it's a great unit. I hope the me and MacDSP will pair up, and we can do a really good series of videos on it. So we'll see. Tell MacDSP they already are in contact with me. So write them, and we'll make it happen. Do you export your WAV files with analog gear on it? I'm not sure what you mean by export. If you mean I print, I don't print. That's why I have a shitload of gear. Mixing in analog, you don't print. Mixing in analog, everything goes through the machines at the same time. Watch my interview with Westlake Pro on Westlake Pro website. I explained that. You don't print. Then you want to change settings. What do? You go back and reprint it. Doesn't work like that. Analog mixing is like mixing with plugins. Instead of plugins, you have units, and you tweak all the time until the last minute. So if that's what you're referring to, oh no, I don't print. Fuck that. If I have to print something, I will buy another unit before printing. That's why we have 2 of everything or 4 of everything, like my distressors, my Fatso. I have like many of them because I don't print. I don't want to print. When you do this professionally, you don't have time to print. You really don't. And then what if you have to do a change? And if you change one thing, then you have to change the other. What you start reprinting everything? We don't print. Who mixes analog doesn't print. It can happen once in a blue moon, because I just want to slam that vocal with the 1176 and just leave it there parallel. And then just you quickly do it. But other than that, no way. As for the final mix, yes, of course you print with the analog on. Otherwise, why the heck do you have it? Do I still use the Tegeler cream? No, I don't. I left it in Europe. Too much stuff. I didn't need it. My honest opinion on it. Why everybody's asking about the Tegeler cream today? Like, this is the 5th person. It's a good unit. It's on the transparent side. For SSL, I prefer other things. I feel like it's a little bit sterile, the SSL part of it. The boost EQ part can be useful. A bit limited. I think one would be better off to buy separate unit, full-blown SSL compressor like this and more, and a full stereo parametric or semi-parametric EQ like an API or whatever else. The Empress, if you want to go Pultec style, the Empress is mind-blowing. It just sounds so good. I watched a video earlier with Andrew Scheps saying he does mixing everything in the box, but I also noticed that he kind of hinted that the source has to be good first. All right, about Andrew Scheps. First of all, the guy mixed on analog for 35 years. Full analog for 35 years. Maybe right now he's good by mixing in the box. How about that? He also has to travel a lot. So the source has to be good to begin with, no matter what you use. If he wants to mix in the box, good for him. But remember, guys, the guy mixed and made his name in analog, okay? And after 35 years of experience mixing every day, maybe he can get around, using plugin only, and then we don't know. You never know. You know, you never know. I know some big engineers that they say we are all in the box, we're all in the box, we're all in the box, and then when a big band hired them to mix, they rent a studio with a big SSL or a big Neve. How about that? Let's not do name, let's not make names, but that's the truth. That's the reality. Yeah. What about if a label asks for stems? Hey David, does it worth putting money on a website first and then on analog gear, or vice versa? Website first. You mean to promote yourself? It's kind of a weird parallel. One of the two. I think the first thing you have to invest is in your training and then build a portfolio and then put that portfolio online and public. Whether or not you use analog or not, it's not that important unless you have certain clients of a certain caliber. At that point, you know, yeah, you need to look the part, not just, you know, be good. But a website is pretty cheap. I mean, with the money you spend for a website, even if you spend like $500 on a website, what hardware do you buy with $500? Nothing. So final mix printing is like a record on my DAW and not just bounce. Yes, of course. When you print with analog, it's like when you use analog, your computer is like a tape machine. You need to run the mix through the machines for its entirety and then print it. That's why we ask more money for different revisions, or stamps, or whatever else. You need to sit there with all the gear on and let the song pass. That's how you print in analog. What do you think about Neutron? Do you use it? Yeah, I do use Neutron. It's a good plugin. I love pretty much everything that iZotope makes. I always confuse Neutron with Nectar, but I use both. All right, guys. Last question. Any thoughts of a good analog EQ that I can use on my synths, leads, etc. to add movement, like a good EQ sweep, or at the moment I'm using a pedal, but would love a better standalone? A parametric EQ, I think it's gonna be worse. The only thing that I can think of, a full parametric with no clicks. So like a tone looks EQ, if you want to sweep, because you can make the bells really narrow and sweep those, but maybe you want like an analog filter as a synth more than like a mixing EQ, you know? David, why not take advantage of your flock system for analog gear recall? The flock doesn't recall the gear. The flock only recalls the routing, which I do have presets and I save sessions. You recall only the routing. The flock doesn't move the knobs for you. When I recall that my PQ master equalizer and it's 50,000 knobs, you have to do it by hand. Take pictures and and do that by hand. All right, guys, I gotta go. Really last one. David, what should I invest first to take my mic to the next level? Analog gear or an Apollo and their plugins to track live? You can't track with plugins. It's tracking with plugins. It's the same as adding them later in the mix. Okay. There's no difference. There's no difference. So and when you nothing replace recording. Because when you record with a different preamp, a different mic, or a compressor, or an EQ, the transient are different. How fast or slow a unit is on that transient, it imprints in the track. And when you do it after, it's not the same thing. It will never be the same thing. So invest in a good mic if you don't have one, and in a good preamp, I personally like to track, especially vocals with compression without EQ. So that would be my priority. Get a good mic, get a good pre, get a good compressor. The plugins added on tracking is bullshit. Okay, it's no different than if you track with whatever you are and then you add the plugins later. It just simply save you the CPU power that you will have to use later on. Okay, I just purchased CLA Bluey. What's your thoughts? I have the stem, which has 3 revisions in one, but I hear great things. So you probably made a good purchase. All right, guys, I gotta go. I really gotta mix. This was a completely improvised Q&A, but thank you everybody for chiming in. Thank you everybody for donating, and I will leave this video up. So if you want me to do more live streams like this, we'll make it happen. All right, stay safe.